This podcast is not about religion. This podcast is to introduce you to yourself. You have spent a lot of time wondering or working towards something that just have not fulfilled who you believed you were. And then we've spent a lot of times looking at external things which confused who we are even more. I'm simply here to introduce you to who you are. I'm gonna show you the mirror and then you can choose to look or ignore. To clear a few things first, let's get rid of the elephant in the room. This podcast is not about religion. Number one, it is not. But the truth has been placed everywhere, even in the religious books. So whether you're atheist, whether you're religious, whether you're a scientist or a chemist or biologist, you're in the right place. I'm simply going to introduce you to who you are. And to kick off that right away, let's point out certain beliefs that you have, which will make your understanding going forward a little bit difficult. Growing up, we've all learned certain habits. We have understood certain things in a certain way. So we have built a defense mechanism where certain things are told to us, we believe it or we reject it. I want you to put all your beliefs aside, whether it's religious or not. Everything, just put it aside. You're learning something new. Some of this you already know, some is completely new to you. What we're going to talk about in this podcast and all the episodes that will follow is the topic around me, myself, and I. 3 simple words. It's quite easy, but it hides a lot of things within it. We've spent all of our times looking outward. We've spent every single waking moment striving for things that are outside of us. Religion somewhat convinced most people that what they are striving towards gets them to a better place or puts them at ease. It has created a sense of false hope. You really have to put aside religion. Why am I addressing religion first? It's because certain terms that we're going to address lies within the same book everybody have read all of their lives. It doesn't matter what type of religious beliefs you have, but we have to just address certain things. The kingdom of heaven is within you. It can't be within you while you spend all of your time looking outward. You live in the castle. You're looking for something outside of your castle. Not everything is inside. You had it all along. I'm simply here to introduce you to who you truly are. And the mirror is going to be here, and you get to choose based on what you hear. Ask any question. Expect more on everything that I will say. Expect more. And this is going to be a lot of episodes that we're going to do on this. So let's get right away on it. We are made up of 3 fundamental bodies, let's say. The word me, myself, and I, it took me a while to get to this. But by understanding the English language for what it was, not the spoken one, no, for truly what it was. It's not just the English language, but any spoken language has hidden information. I just happened to land on the English language, and by looking at the 3 words, me, myself, and I learned a new understanding of what we were not meant to see or what we were not meant to understand. So that's literally the whole podcast is going to be around this, but it goes deeper than just the basics of me, myself, and I, as the basic words are. English language, spoken, verbally communicated language, hides a lot of things. As a whole, the way we operate, we have three different type of consciousness within us. And a conscious can't exist without a body. That body in terms doesn't have to be physical. It can also be metaphysical. So we have three operating consciousness within us. And the first one that most people are aware of is what we refer to as me. That is the physical self. Now, why is that the physical self? Because we address that to us, me. And that is flesh, bones, sense. It operates at a surface level. Below that, we get to what we will refer to as myself, the metaphysic. It's something that is within you. When you address the word myself, you are never implying to you. But for this intro, what you refer to as myself is the second level consciousness, also known as your subconscious mind. And this operates at a metaphysical. There is nothing about all of these terminology that I'm throwing out that is new to you. It isn't new to you. These are all things you have operated with. You have used these terminology on a day-to-day basis without fully grasping what you were saying. Now, at a surface level, you have the physical you, what everybody sees. Below that, you have the metaphysical, which is the word you would refer to as myself. After that, you have what you would call the unified I. When you address certain things, you say, I was there. That implies a unified you. It's a combination of the physical you and the metaphysical coming together. This is your wholeness. This is that thing people will say they have reached the state of enlightenment, or your whole self. Within the I, it has its own functionality. All these three levels have their own functionality. And they don't operate the way we use the words on a day-to-day basis. We can just throw the word out there. It was me. I was there by myself. I agree. All of these terminology that we use, we never look below that level. What do we actually imply? We don't just walk around as the physical. That's not what happens. There's more to us than that. Don't forget, we are the perfect creation in this planet. There is nothing that was left that made us incomplete. Everything was given to us, and it was complete. Religion have kept you away from understanding who you truly are by addressing everything to a higher power. Within you lies everything. Every creation that we see outside was made based on something that relates to how we are. We just never had the ability, or we were never aware of how they understood, how we got attracted to all the external things that we are attracted to. Why are we so attached to material things? Because the material is designed based on how you are, whether at the physical level or at the metaphysical level, or as your whole self. That's how things are really designed. I'll give you one example. When you see a vehicle driving by, we're not talking about electric vehicle, by the way, that self-drives itself, but at a just basic level, when you see a vehicle driving by, you see the vehicle, you see the physical. But what you don't see is who is inside. Now, who is actually giving the command? Who is actually guiding the car? while it's going by. It's the person sitting at the driver's seat. The person holding the steering wheel can decide whether to go left or right. We operate equally like that, but we were just taught, not intentional, or it could be intentional, that's up to somebody else's interpretation, but we were taught to value the physical and ignore and don't even be aware of who is actually at the driver's seat, who is guiding you left and right, who is that inner self. The word itself, English is not my first language, so I feel there is a bit of a disconnect when you are a native of that language versus a person who is learning the language. People who learn languages, that is not their primary language, they look deep into each word. Each word means a lot more than it would on a person who was just born in that country. While I learned English, I was already speaking another language. So each word I had to somewhat contrast that with how I spoke in French, how I spoke to my native language. So I had to contrast that a lot of times just to arrive at a point where now I understand what it means. The word myself never implies you, because any word that you associate the word my to implies something that belongs to you, but it is not you. For example, my house, you are not the house. My laptop, I am not the laptop. My phone and etc. All of those things, based on how you speak about them, you 100% know that they belong to you, but they are not you. Why is that? We can apply that word my across everything, and automatically we know I am not that thing. But when we say myself, we imply that it is us. This is where English, well, I only managed to interpret this in English for you to understand. So, to me, English, written, verbally communicated language, hid a lot of things. The word language itself has an underlining meaning. So in programming, whichever type of program you're using to control certain things, you call it a language. So you have the Java language, the C or the C++, or Python, and so on and so forth. There's languages. But within that language, it has a code. We have operated across everything looking at the hardware. We never went below that level to see what is actually the software. The software in us is what lies inside of us, outside the flesh, outside the organs, outside of the bones, outside of the physical presence that we walk around with. What is your software? One thing I understood was when people somewhat change the software of a device, say for example, you want your iPhone to run a program that is Android, for example. People will say you have to jailbreak your phone to run certain things that it won't allow you to run because it's capable of, but if you do this, it becomes more. Have you ever tried to taproot yourself to figure out how much more you are outside of the physical, which is really just at the hardware level? Not many people have done that. We haven't spent enough time looking what lies beneath the physical. Facebook created the Metaverse. The Metaverse is a reflection of you, just in digital. But you know that digital is somewhat a copy of you, but it's not you, but you can interact with it. So technically what Facebook has created was it created the ability for you to interact with the self that you have. Everything that got created in our world came from something inside. The reason we hesitated a lot to uncover who we truly are is because we are too rational. Because we are too rational, certain things we just can't perceive it for what it is. Everything that was possible was always put in a place where it looked impossible until somebody done it. And then everybody soon followed to see, oh yes, it is possible. But prior to that, it looked impossible. So look at everything in your surrounding that just looks impossible. There is a possibility in there. There is this abbreviation people say the word impossible is indicating I am possible. Rightly, yes. There's this statement in school. Some of the people that we went to school with used to say, and my mother used to get angry about it. When you ask somebody, who are you there with? They will say, myself. And my mother used to get really frustrated like that. You're learning the language incorrectly. But take a step back. If you understand the physical you is what you refer to as me, and what lies inside of you is the self, technically, who you were with was a combination of you and the self. People would say things truthfully, unknowingly, but you need a code to decipher certain things that we say in order for you to grasp what reality truly is. We have struggled to make progress as human beings because we've all paid attention to what was outside, never inside. If you replace the word me, myself, and I with your own name, all of a sudden you're speaking to yourself as a third person. Why is that? Technically, you should still speak about you as a first person. But by just swapping your name across those three, all of a sudden, you're speaking to yourself as a third person. It's not accidental or incorrect that you speak about yourself as a third person. It implies you are speaking on behalf of somebody else. How can I speak about me on behalf of somebody else? It makes no sense. But there is sense in that. Because you are not just you. You are made up of three individual consciousness. The one that we are always aware of is what we call the physical, the me. That's what we are aware of. The conscious mind. It's within the word subconscious, is below what you can handle. It's below what you control. There is more to us than what we portray outside. We hide. There's a lot about us that is hidden behind. And the reason I said you have to separate yourself from religion to try to grasp who you truly are is because religion will allow you to be a follower. Religion will allow you to believe on things that are outside of you. Religion will allow you to address a higher power. How can we advance forward if we never knew where or who we are? We've spent countless of time trying to look at what happened in the past. It happened in the past and it's done. Let's try to look forward. And your progress forward is you have to bring your whole self forward. Most things don't work for people is because they only operate with the physical. The word self, the word soul, the word subconscious mind, they are all one and the same. It's just people have used it based on their subject, let's say. Each section created their own word to address what was within. We operate incomplete. And this is just an introduction of you understanding it's not just you. It's never been just you. You left a lot of you outside. Hence why certain things, you struggle to achieve certain things because you are operating with just the physical. You were not created incomplete. You were created complete. But the journey was yours to discover who you truly are as a whole. I've seen people do the most amazing things that they couldn't even remember. Each 3 stages that I just listed out, that I mentioned, the conscious mind can only operate with a body. That body can be the physical or the metaphysical. Your subconscious mind lies within you. It has its own body in the metaphysical world. You operate with the conscious mind, and you have a physical presence about you, a physical body. Now, the I, within the terminology of me, myself, and I, is what binds all of those together. That's what gives you actual control, your full self. Is there for you to really reach a stage of higher evolution. Now, everything outside tries to keep you away from understanding there's more to you than just the physical body you carry around. When you see a drunken driver, the person that's more dangerous is not really the vehicle. It's the person inside the vehicle, because they get to bring the actual car from A to B. Now, until we get to a point where cars are driving themselves, going crazy, then you worry about the car if there's nobody inside. But the person inside holds a lot more than the shell outside. We were not made to kneel or follow. We just don't know the compass that shows where we are. Any navigation system requires your location in order to guide you where you should go. You can go into your phone and try to type any location that you want to arrive to. Before you click search, you have to input the direction of your current location. The only way we can connect 2 points, we need to know both variables, A and B. How are you meant to move forward if you don't know where you are to begin with? How are you meant to achieve anything if you don't know who you are? You can kneel and address your prayer to a higher being all day. You're still going to be in the same place, lost. You can put blind faith. Yes, it does give you the motivation to keep going. It does help. It does ease some pain. You have all the answers in you. Everything outside of us was designed based on who we are. Everything outside of us was designed to keep us focusing on that, not on us. Until you get to a point where you can look inside. When you look at a mirror, you see the physical. When I look at a mirror, I see all the way through the eye. And certain things, you just achieve them as if you were playing a video game and you knew you were going to win. I have put myself in situations that the chances of winning is quite low. The chances of things going sideways is quite high. But within the impossibilities of that situations, I just knew. And I mean that on the literal sense. The I brings the whole of me to achieve certain things. You have more in you than you ever thought was possible. Certain aspects of our lives have just kept us apart from that. We have become beggars. We have become people who pray non-stop. We have become people who will wait until the day a higher power comes down to save us. How can the kingdom of heaven be within you and you're still seeking things outside of you? Now, the religious can break that down and try to explain why it's not relevant. When are you going to focus on who you truly are? You have everything at your disposal. Yeah, it may have been written a certain way, but you have everything at your disposal. Now the question is, are you operating as just the physical, or are you trying to understand the self in you? Or did you reach the state of enlightenment of the I? Now, throughout these podcasts, we are going to get into more details. But just a recap, you are not just the physical you. You are made up of 3 separate consciousness with its own body. Each consciousness operates at a different level. You have the surface level self, which is the physical you. Below that, you have your subconscious mind, which is in the metaphysical realm. And then below that, what completes the above 2 is the I, your whole self. There is no miracles. There is understanding of when you arrive at the I, everything just works. It's like you're walking around with a magic wand and you just know things will work. And it does work. And you use it at your disposal. If we part ways with things that distracted us, we wouldn't need that much. And if we understood the power that we had within us, we wouldn't seek outside, we would seek inside. On the next episode, we'll try to dive a little bit more on me, myself, and I. We're going to dive a little further to really understand what they are capable of. So far, it has just been an introduction. But next time, we will try to dive more into what they are really capable of and why they're there and how it was put there in the first place. I'll leave you with this. Howard Stark in Iron Man said, "What was and always will be my greatest creation is you." There was no shortcut on who you were. You were the greatest creation.